Okay, boys and girls, here's another video report about my activities of yesterday. We went to see two temples, Banteay Sri and Banteay Samré. Banteay Sri is well known. It's Banteay means fortress or citadel, and so it means citadel of the women or of the sisters. Actually, that has nothing to do with its real name, but because the carving is so fine and so delicate, they associated it with women. And the book you want to get if you're going to come here is this one. And if you forget the book, one of the guys will sell it to you for $25, which is the price. Actually, it goes for $27.95, so you get a discount and you don't have to pay the Amazon shipping. I bought some postcards yesterday because I have to send my my doctor's nurse, Allison, a postcard. So the deal's always the same no matter where you go. Only $1, mister, only $1. And then you say, okay, I'll buy it. And they go, oh, okay, $10. Wait, you said $1. $1, one postcard. There are 10 postcards in here. And I go, okay, I'll buy all 10. You want these? They're different. Now, only this temple here. Okay, I'll buy that. And then before you leave, it's like, oh, wait, we have Angkor Wat. You want Angkor Wat? $10. So then you end up dropping $30 for 30 postcards. And there are all these dresses in stalls, and I bought one for my wife, for Shelby, and here it is. And this is the shirt top, actually. So, and then there's this, what I thought was a skirt, but it's not. It's actually a culotte. And I think if she drops her size in half, it might fit her. I don't know. I got to measure these things, but well. So the other place that we went yesterday, because I saw we passed the Landmine Museum, and you know the devastation of the Khmer Rouge you see here. They have musicians almost at every stop in a little pavilion, and as you start to approach down the pathway, they play music, and then you get up and you see that they're all victims from landmines. So I went to the Landmine Museum. On the way out, I bought some magnets that you see here, and I bought a little patch, and then I bought some soap because, I mean, you know, when are you going to be able to buy soap like this, right, in the shape of a landmine? I mean, here you go. This is soap in the shape of a landmine. Oh, and it says clean up, and this is rosemary milk, rosemary mint. You can also get it. It looks just the same, but in coconut. So I got 4 of these and those things, and that was $65. So I guess I contributed to the cleanup effort here, which I'm happy to do. But what I really wanted to tell you about was not only Banteay Sri, but Banteay Samré. They're very similar temples in their carving, and they're both very small temples. And the reason they're small temples is they weren't built by a king. They were built by one of his administrators who was given permission by the king. So they tend to be very small. And many people go to Banteay Sri. In fact, when I was here in 2015, we got up before sunrise to make it there by sunrise. And the main reason we did that was to duck the tourist buses. And it's on the way to the Kulin Hills, which is where it's believed that the Khmers came from when they came down off of the hills into the plains here, on the rice fields. And so it's just this exquisite carving. So I was there at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I was the only person in the place. Well, it turned out there was one other, but the parking lot was empty. And last time in 2015, when after we'd gone up to the Cooling Hills and we came back in mid-afternoon, there were probably 15 giant motor coach tour buses there. So this is just an incredible time to be at Angkor Wat, and the carving is exquisite. Now, most of the carving on both of these sites relates to Hindu myths, and there are two big Hindu myths that have all these stories in them. And like many mythic stories, they had an oral tradition which was repeated over and over again for hundreds of years. So what happens in these circumstances is that the stories get compacted and changed and whatnot. And I think I may have told you that it's similar to the Bible stories and the plagues that hit Egypt. They make it sound like it all happened, one after the other, when really what probably happened was these were various events of nature, such as a locust plague or the Nile River running red when a bio agent is in there that can actually happen. But they can condense them all together, and until the advancement of science, a lot of these things were not understood. I remember reading, the part of the Greek tradition was, you could wake up in the morning with a cough and be dead by nightfall. Well, what was that? What caused it? Well, obviously it was the gods. You had done something bad, and the gods were punishing you. Or if you're in the in the world in Peru, there's this alternate spirit universe, and your spirit god is mad with you, and therefore you must take a hallucinogenic drink, go into the other realm and fight the demons, and so here you have gods and demons as well. So it's a very similar kind of thing. But I had been to Banteay Sri and I'd seen the fine work. But when I got to Banteay Samré, which nobody goes to, the same fine carving, but the whole world is condensed into this small courtyard. Now, most of these places are laid out on the cardinal directions, and at each, and then bisected by, in one direction, a hall, what they call a ramp, and then a hallway cuts across. So you'll typically have maybe one tower, or in the case of Angkor Wat, 5 towers, which resemble the peaks of the mythical Mount Meru. But most of the smaller temples, there's just one tower. But where the, and then you have the surrounding wall, so where the intersecting ramp and hallways cross the wall, you have what they call a gopura, which is a small little citadel. And then inside of the courtyard, you may have 2 or 4 what are referred to as libraries, these rectangular small buildings, which they believe was part of Surivarman the Second's. It was Surivarman the Seventh. He built these things for what they call a fire ceremony. We believe. We don't really know, but that's the best guess they have. So all this in Banteay Samré is compressed into this small little area. So you walk through the gateway of the Gopura, and you're there. You're right there at the tower, at the libraries, and all this wonderful, delicate carving, and all of them are telling stories from these various Hindu mythic traditions. It's just fabulous. And then I went to the Landmine Museum, and you just see all these old landmines and shells and bombs and all the devastation that it caused. And apparently up in the northern part of the country, there's a band called the K5 band, which, according to the literature there, is still littered with these landmines. And there are 2 types, basically. There's the one that just blows your leg off, or there's the one that just blows apart a tank, depending on how big. You know, the big round ones like the kind that I showed you here would be about a foot or 14 inches in diameter and hold enough explosive to blow apart a tank or a vehicle and take that much pressure to explode. But the little ones, yeah, they just blow off your leg and an arm, and you know, you're scarred for life. Terrible. So that's it from here. See ya.